A small team reportedly built this native Mac app in just a few days. They used Google's own AI coding tool, which is called anti-gravity. Just think about that for a second. It is literally AI building AI.
Wow. Yeah, that completely rewrites the rules of software deployment, I mean. If the friction to build a native app just drops from months down to, days.
We are about to see a massive tidal wave of desktop integrations.
Absolutely. It's wild to think about.
Welcome to this deep dive. Today, we are looking at Google's newly launched native Mac app for Gemini. Our mission here is pretty straightforward. We want to understand how AI is officially abandoning the browser tab.
Right. It's finally moving down to sit natively on your desktop.
Exactly. And we'll explore how this app becomes an always available system. We're going to unpack the 3 major features, including how it physically sees your screen.
That screen sharing part is just a game changer.
It really is. And finally, we will discuss what is glaringly missing from this early release.
Because it definitely has some rough edges right now. But the overall direction is just fascinating to watch.
It is. So let's start with how and why this app exists in its current form. We're essentially moving from a hidden Chrome tab to a dedicated native desktop assistant.
Right, because before this release, Gemini mostly lived trapped inside your browser window.
Yeah.
And that meant managing extra tabs. It meant dealing with extra clicks just to ask a simple question.
It also meant constant breaks in focus. I have to admit something here. I still wrestle with tab fatigue and, losing my train of thought pretty constantly.
Oh, you are definitely not alone in that. Context switching is completely exhausting for the human brain.
Yeah, it really drains.
Every single time you switch tabs, you lose a tiny bit of your working memory.
I look at it this way. The old browser-based AI was a lot like a dusty encyclopedia. You literally had to stop what you were doing, walk across the room, and fetch it.
That's a great way to put it.
But this new native app feels entirely different. It is more like slipping on a pair of glasses with a translucent overlay. It just sits right there, quietly augmenting whatever you are already looking at.
I love that analogy. It stays intimately close to your actual workflow. But to get that seamless experience, there are some pretty strict hardware requirements, right?
It is completely free download. However, it only works on macOS Sequoia 15.0 or later.
Exactly. And the big catch is that it requires Apple Silicon. So if you are still rocking an older Intel Mac, you are totally out of luck for now.
Let's explain why that hardware restriction exists, actually. Because it is not just arbitrary, is it?
No, not at all. Apple Silicon chips have something called a neural engine. It is essentially a dedicated processor just for handling machine learning tasks efficiently. Running AI locally or, even just processing screen context quickly requires a massive amount of raw computing power.
And the unified memory architecture helps a lot, too.
Oh, absolutely. Unified memory means the main processor and the graphics processor share the exact same pool of data.
Right.
So they do not have to copy information back and forth. That makes the whole system incredibly fast and, super efficient.
That makes total sense. It allows the AI to process visual data without lagging the whole machine. Which brings us back to that mind-bending fact from the start.
The anti-gravity tool.
Yeah. They built this app in just a few days using anti-gravity. But I have to push back here.
Okay.
If AI is building these tools so incredibly fast, doesn't that just lead to a flood of rushed, buggy software integrating into our daily workflows?
Well, that is a very fair concern. Speed can definitely lead to sloppiness. But what AI coding tools like anti-gravity actually do is remove the mechanical friction. They handle the boring, repetitive parts of writing code.
So like setting up the basic framework of the native app.
Exactly. Writing the boilerplate code, setting up the Xcode project, compiling the basic user interface. The AI handles the grunt work there.
Wow.
And that leaves the human engineers completely free to focus on refining the actual user experience and the core features.
So AI accelerates development, bringing tools closer to our real work much faster.
Precisely. It fundamentally changes the speed limit of the tech industry.
That's incredible. Let's transition to what this actually feels like to use on your machine.
Yeah.
Because if it was built in days, you might expect it to feel clunky. But actually opening it on the Mac, the experience is the exact opposite.
It really is. The first thing that hits you is just how clean it looks.
Yeah.
The design is incredibly minimal compared to the bulky web interface.
It feels very polished. It strips away all the visual noise of a traditional browser window.
Right, and that makes a profound difference for your focus. When an app looks simple, your brain does not waste cognitive energy hunting for the right button.
Tools and file attachments are grouped simply into one clean menu. You do not have to jump between 5 different nested sections.
Exactly. You can just drag and drop files directly.
Mm.
You can pull from Google Drive, Google Photos, or use creation tools from one single spot.
Which brings us to the first major feature, the Option plus space keyboard shortcut.
Oh, this is probably the single biggest reason people will adopt this app. You just press Option and space together. The Gemini interface opens instantly from anywhere on your Mac.
It is very similar to how Apple's built-in Spotlight search works, but it opens as a small floating chat window instead.
Exactly. And crucially, it does not take over your entire screen. That is absolutely vital for maintaining your psychological flow state.
Right, you ask a quick question, grab the answer, and dive straight back into your workflow without your focus getting hijacked.
Yep. The second major feature centers around the built-in creation tools. This makes it a lot more than just a simple text chatbot.
You can generate complex images, video, and even music right inside the same workspace.
You are literally building media assets inside the floating window. It completely cuts down the need to switch over to dedicated editing apps.
Now let's explore the third and honestly most critical feature, window sharing.
Oh, this is definitely where the magic happens.
This is where the app truly shows its potential. You can share a specific window, and Gemini can actually look at your screen. Let's clarify the technical jargon here simply. Screen context means the AI sees exactly what you are looking at right now.
Yes. It can process the live documents, the chaotic websites, or the dense graphs you have open.
But I need to challenge this a bit.
Sure.
You say it is an always available system, but frankly, my Mac is already cluttered. How does an always-on AI not just become another annoying pop-up constantly demanding my attention?
Well, that is the beauty of the specific shortcut design. It is not an aggressive pop-up that interrupts you.
Okay.
It only appears exactly when you summon it with Option plus space. And regarding the clutter, window sharing actually reduces your digital mess.
How so?
Think about the old copy-paste loop.
You mean the endless cycle of moving text between windows?
Yes. Before, you found data on a website. You carefully highlighted it, you copied it, you switched over to the AI tab, you pasted it.
And you pray the formatting did not break.
Exactly. With window sharing, you completely bypass that entire mechanical process. You just point the AI directly at your spreadsheet or your code editor.
Right.
It reads the raw visual data on its own.
Right. Less copying means you stay completely immersed in your actual workflow.
Exactly. You eliminate the busy work so you can focus entirely on the deep thinking.
We are going to take a brief pause here.
Support for this deep dive comes from our partners. They help us continue exploring these complex technological shifts with you.
We appreciate their commitment to bringing in-depth, accessible analysis to our listeners.
If you enjoy these deep dives, please support the partners who make them possible.
Now let's get back to unpacking the Gemini Mac app.
Sounds good.
Let's build directly on this idea of window sharing. We need to explore what you actually do when the AI can finally see your screen.
Yeah, the real-world use cases here are what separate this from a gimmick. It is not just for writing polite emails anymore.
The source material provides some excellent concrete examples. Let's say you are staring at a dense, highly technical financial graph.
Or a massive, completely chaotic Excel spreadsheet. I mean, we've all stared blankly at one of those.
Absolutely. You can trigger the shortcut and share that specific window. Then you just ask Gemini to explain the trends in plain English.
That is incredibly powerful, especially when the raw data looks entirely overwhelming at first glance.
It essentially acts as an instant translator for complex visual data.
Right.
Another fantastic use case is alongside content creation.
Yeah. Imagine you have a dense research paper open on one side of your screen.
You can keep that source material right where it is. You ask Gemini to draft a summary or create related graphic assets.
You never leave your primary task. You are reading, analyzing, and generating new material in the exact same unified workflow.
What about analyzing live websites? Because that is a massive part of modern digital work.
Oh, this is a game changer for marketers and developers. You can share a live website or a complex analytics dashboard directly.
You can just ask it for an immediate SEO audit based on what is visible.
Or you can ask for structural redesign ideas. You get keyword optimization suggestions based entirely on the live metrics it sees.
So instead of manually typing out your bounce rates, you just show it the screen.
Exactly. You ask direct, highly specific questions about the visual evidence right in front of you.
It is also incredibly useful for app troubleshooting. Let's walk through a practical scenario here.
Okay, say you are setting up a complex workflow automation in a tool like Zapier.
You are connecting two apps, but the webhook is failing and you have no idea why.
Normally, you would have to take a screenshot, obscure your API keys, and post it to a forum somewhere.
Yeah.
Or you would copy the cryptic error code into a search engine and just hope for the best.
But here you just share that specific automation window. You ask Gemini exactly why the setup is failing.
It acts exactly like contextual tech support. It reads the error state and your configuration simultaneously.
Let me ask you a deeper question about this dynamic.
Sure.
Does this specific feature transform Gemini from a passive search engine into an active, shoulder-to-shoulder collaborator?
I absolutely think it does. A traditional search engine is entirely passive. It waits patiently for you to formulate the perfect query. It relies on you to translate your visual problem into text. But when the AI app is sitting directly on your desktop, looking at the exact same broken automation you are staring at,
The entire relationship changes.
completely, it is no longer just blindly fetching answers from the web. It is actively diagnosing your specific local digital environment right alongside you.
Yeah, it sits right on your desktop, helping you fix things in real time.
That real-time, shared visual context is the defining shift of this era.
It sounds like a perfect productivity utopia. But we always have to pivot to the reality check.
There is always a reality check in tech,
Always.
especially when you are dealing with software built in a matter of days.
Right. We need to look closely at the actual trade-offs. Let's start with what is actually working well right now.
Well, the core foundational tools are surprisingly solid. You can switch between different backend AI models very smoothly.
You can attach local files without issue. You have reliable access to your past chat history.
And the Canvas feature made it into this version too. That gives you a dedicated space for longer writing or coding projects.
Though the source notes, it is still missing some of the advanced editing features found on the web.
Right. It works, but it is definitely a slightly stripped-down version of Canvas.
It manages to pull a lot of different media into one environment. But what is glaringly missing from this release?
The biggest, most painful omissions right now are Gems and Notebooks. They are simply not available in the native app.
Let's explain what those actually are. Why does missing them matter so much?
Notebooks essentially act as a personalized AI brain. You upload your specific documents, and the AI only uses that trusted information to answer you.
It is a process called retrieval augmented generation, right?
Exactly. It gives the AI a specific folder of your documents to reference, and Gems are similar. They are customized AI personas you build for very specific, repeatable tasks.
So if you have spent months building these custom environments on the web, they just do not exist here.
Right. The synchronization between the web platform and the native Mac app is currently broken for those features.
That completely fractures the unified experience they're trying to sell.
It does. Also, the fully seamless conversational live voice experience is not ready yet.
There is a basic speech-to-text setting buried inside the app right now.
Yeah, it clearly suggests Google is laying the groundwork for it, but the fluid, two-way conversational voice feature just is not functional today.
Let me probe a bit on the missing notebooks.
Okay.
Doesn't this break the brain of a power user? Do these missing features make the app too frustrating to actually use right now?
It is definitely a massive point of friction for power users. People build incredibly complex workflows around their custom notebooks.
Right?
They curate highly specific knowledge bases over months. When those do not smoothly sync over to the new desktop app, you essentially end up with two entirely different AI brains.
Wow.
You have your smart, customized web brain and your somewhat amnesiac native app brain. It actively forces the user to constantly remember which platform holds which context.
That sounds exhausting.
It absolutely creates frustration if you rely heavily on those meticulously organized environments.
Got it. It's early. But the sheer speed outweighs the temporary missing pieces.
For most standard daily tasks, yes. The sheer speed of hitting Option plus space is just too powerful to ignore.
So looking ahead, what is next for this application? The development roadmap seems pretty transparent.
Google is clearly aiming for complete feature parity across your phone, the web, and the Mac app.
So those frustrating missing pieces like notebooks and live voice features will eventually arrive.
Undoubtedly. But beyond just catching up to the web, the ultimate goal is making the app much more agent-like.
Meaning deeper access to your local file system, better integration across your entire operating system.
Exactly. It shows exactly where the entire Gemini ecosystem is heading, even if this specific app is not fully mature yet.
Let's take a moment to synthesize everything we have unpacked today.
I think this release is a massive, highly consequential step forward for desktop AI.
I agree. The Gemini Mac app is not just another standard product update you scroll past. It represents a fundamental philosophical shift in computing.
Yeah, it really
This
does.
is the exact moment AI officially stopped being a destination. You no longer have to deliberately travel to a browser tab to visit it.
Exactly.
It has officially become an ever-present, invisible layer woven into your operating system.
It is demonstrably faster, it demands less friction, and it feels vastly more natural to use.
If you are listening to this right now, I highly encourage you to check your system specs. See if you have an Apple Silicon Mac running macOS Sequoia.
Yeah, and if you do meet the requirements, go download the app. Try integrating that Option plus space shortcut into your work today.
Seriously, see how it alters your own flow state? Notice how fundamentally different it feels to have an intelligent assistant quietly sitting directly on top of your work, rather than hiding behind a web address.
It really is a tactile shift. It is something you genuinely have to feel to fully understand the impact.
The source material leaves us with a fascinating note. It points out that the entire industry is aggressively pushing toward future computer use features. I want you to really think about the trajectory here. We started this deep dive by talking about an AI coding tool that built this very application in a matter of days. Now, we have established that the AI can perfectly see your screen.
Right.
It can audit a live website visually. It can look at a messy Zapier dashboard and troubleshoot a broken app. If it can already see, analyze, and understand your screen perfectly,
Yeah.
how long until it doesn't just give you polite advice, but actually reaches out, takes control of the mouse, and fixes the broken automation for you?